Alright, so in this one we are going to be doing my Dragon Ball Legends before part 2 of the 7th anniversary top 10 tier list, because there have been things that are just so impactful that a new tier list has to be made from the prior one with MUI and EVO and such. Now, again, this must be updated within the likes of Ultra Hit, of Rev UI, Zenkai, etc. So let's get into it with the arguable top 10 units. There's going to be 3 units here, and they will be in order from, I guess you could say, 11, 12, 13, if you want to include that, with it being Kid Goku, Beast Gohan, and as well as, this guy's actually hiding over here, Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Now, I'll go over them in the order that they are stated, so, well, backwards, actually, but Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the potential of him obviously still does coexist. What this unit does is just insurmountable anything. Once he does get going, there's no purples in the game, there's no purples in this list. He just decimates a whole match, right? The issue is that, you know, sometimes when Daima's in, okay, you got Daima Furuku sealing mains, you got just a little bit of annoyances flowing throughout around him. Maybe Hit time skips him because they know how powerful he can be. Maybe Rev UI's in, so his infinite combos are not as frugal. But for the most part, this unit does have capabilities to just pop off. It is one of those kind of rare units. I guess there's going to be some of those here, but he has just too much potency and too much goodness. And again, if there's no purple checking him, he is a green that doesn't have much neutral offensively. So if there's no purple to do anything, the infinite combo green that barely has his main sealed because Diamond's not being as run as often is going to have a lot of value. So Super Saiyan 3 right there, making the Arbol top 10. And then you got the 2 yellows here, Beast Gohan and Kid Goku. I do like it where it is right here, whereas Beast being worse than Kid Goku here, because Beast realistically is not really doing anything right now. I mean, Kid Goku's also not doing anything crazy. Let's not get that twisted, but the only reason I would have Kid Goku is because he's more, I guess, sure of himself in the safety. But let's talk about Beast real quick, where all he does is basically die. I mean, look, he's going to either get hit killed, he's going to get either cell killed, or he's going to take so much damage because he is just squishy. I have been running him, I have been trying, and that guy is feeling like extra squishy. Like a Miniku combo could like 4-card, 3-card him at this point, because Miniku could ignore his entire disrupt, by the way, this free-to-play unit, which is insane. Beast just isn't beasting. Movies isn't really a thing. Now, part 2 should most likely have movies. A lot of people are predicting DBZ Super Gogeta and DBS Broly as part 2 to be more hyped than even part 1. And if that is the case, then sure, Beast could gain more value. But as of right now, with Hit and Rev UI being the newest things to the game, there's no way that I can have Beast just be top 10 in general. And there's not much I can do with this unit. You know, Hybrid is subpar to other teams. Movies is subpar to other stuff. And leader slot, let's say even Sun Family, because you could do like, I guess, him, Godku, and MUI. Yeah, sure, but realistically, Beast is special beam cannoning, giving you a little bit of safety mechanism, and then doing nothing the entire match. Even his output, I mean, MUI, Godku, and Beast. Godku, easy stuff. Very easy. Probably outdamages Beast at some points, as well as MUI definitely outdamages Beast, so Beast just doesn't really need to coexist. And even on that team, you just be better off running Rev UI, because that's better safety, because it's guaranteed safety. There's not some, you know, suspect gauge stuff. It's just better off safety, and it's a better color, because green is more safe than yellow. I mean, again, there's no purple on the list for a reason, because the purples are inferior. So Beast does stand at number 11 there, and then number 12 there, and then Kid Goku does argue the number 11 slots. Again, all these could be argued top 10 in that 10 slots, but Kid Goku, I like his green card. The Vanish back could be useful. Yes, I know the Indestructible for him is not really helping, per se, against Hit, because they drop combo in time skip. You can't swap within that. Beast Cannon, you can. Hit's time skip, you can't, which I'll go into detail when we talk about Hit, but I know Indestructible is nothing there, but he could debuff some ultimates. He could get some pretty good burst damage from time to time. Trust me, I know he's rare. I actually think all 3 of these units are honestly nearing equivalency of rarity at this point, because I don't run into any of these 3, and if I do, I guess Beast is the most common, but even then, Kid Goku's like right there. I don't run into any of them at all. But if I were to, Kid Goku would be the most tedious to me at some points. Again, just that good burst damage you can do. That green card could be a nuisance. That blue card that is a short animation, that is a beam, could be something that's just troublesome because we don't have many of those, but when we do, they are going to give you 50-50s that you just can't predict. As well as if you're running with, like, let's say, UMV and UI, right? You can glaze Kid Goku to get, like, a 2x. I mean, UMV's 2x there. You just have everyone just showing out, and Kid Goku can do some nice offensive damage. Again, neither is doing anything crazy. These 3 spots here, if you want to interchange any of them, feel free, but realistically, I don't see any of these hitting top 10. It's just that if you were to make an argument, sure, there could be one, but I would not put that there. But we shall get into the top 10 here, with it being number 10 of, drum roll please. Thank you, appreciate that. Number 10 of Kale and Caulifla. Yeah, Kale and Caulifla are a pretty dominant 1% unit. They do just about everything you would ever require a unit to do, realistically. They can infinite heal, they can pseudo lock, they have cover null, they have cancel attribute upgrades, they have, and buff effects, I'm pretty sure as well. They just have everything going through. They have blast armor, like they just have so much. They have crazy Zenkai buffs, they have really good equips, like they literally have everything you could ever ask for. But they're 1%, so there's things that they're missing that LFs sometimes get and LFs sometimes don't get. And they're just a really solid option. I don't think they're particularly core anywhere. I mean, you can run like a Godku, UMV, Kale Caulifla thing, and then run like 2xing and 3xing and all that shit, and it's a really good team. Or, you know, UI instead. There's a lot of teams they fit on, which also adds to their value. But there's nothing that's like, yeah, I need this unit. But yet again, it is a 1%, so you most likely have this unit because it was on the Better Units banner of MUI, so they're good enough. They do their job. If they're a top 10 1% unit, I mean, there's no real, like, oh my god, that's pretty bad. No, that's really good. There's 2 other units that aren't going to be on this list of Kaba and Evo, who are a 1% and an LF, the newest LF to release in this game. And that's pathetic. But Kale and Caulifla, I mean, they are 50% proc. Your combo ends twice, essentially, for a lot of units. Not every unit, but a lot of units. I mean, Super Saiyan 3 doesn't end, but for a lot of units it does. As well as they'll heal infinitely, as well as spawn infinite greens that you could use with that Godku and UMV thing, or even for hits, or even for UI counters, or even for themselves to infinite heal, or even for Mini Ku to get some strike seals, or even for whatever. They can flow everywhere. They can do everything they want. Most teams in this game are strike-based, so guess what? They're going to flow even better off because of that synergy they can have, their color. I mean, the Zenkai buffs for them is just, again, calling out to them just so easily. It's not really a contest to where they have to argue anything crazy, you know, below this. Again, this is why I think those 3 can argue it, but Kale and Caulifla do so much that's so prosperous. It's just, if I'm going to struggle against a unit, it's not going to be those 3. Super Saiyan 3, sometimes, but consistently, it's mostly going to be Kale and Caulifla because they're just so obnoxious. They're not broken, they're just obnoxious. Which, I mean, they do their job, so happy for them. So that is number 10 there. And then number 9 will be Mr. Mini Ku. Yes, this free-to-play character is very strong because, reminder, he is free-to-play. You literally got him from logging in. Obviously, you could summon and Z-Power more. You could have just pumped him with Z-Power, whatever. But this character is stupid. The Daima team is still strong. Yes, I'll touch on Daima team once we get to higher degrees of Daima. Obviously, you can see Daima units are here still, so that means Daima team probably is still pretty good. But I already said it. He could ignore Beast Gohan's Disrupt, for God's sake. You literally pop main, then you pop green, and then boom. You ignore the card cost upping as well as the card destruction from Beast Gohan there. We're ignoring an Ultra character's Disrupt with a free-to-play character. Does that not sound a bit broken? If he's going to ignore Beast Disrupt, he's most likely going to ignore all Disrupts at that point. I mean, Kale and Caulifla's Disrupt kind of barely touches him when you get that setting for yourself, and you can make that happen fast because he has a pseudo-lock. You click a card, you get a pseudo-lock there, just like your UMV, your LF Cooler, whatever you want to be, you are that for that time frame, because his Zenkai stats, he hits like a nuclear missile, and well, you can even do more than that by Zenkai glazing. Again, this duo right here, you can run them as a team, and then put a safety of Rev UI, Kid Ku, God Ku. Just put a safety character. You want a leader slot Mini Ku and put hit on the team? Who cares? Do what the hell you want. Who cares? Does he need a Zenkai buff beside himself? No. Could you? Sure. Do you need to? No. Miniku's really powerful offense. His defense utility does coexist a little bit. He have some defense neutral, I believe, as well as his 50% proc is essentially killing Caulifla's, but just a one-time. So, yeah, there's something there to that, but again, these lower tiers are going to have flaws that, like, you understand coexist, but their offensive power usually is just making up for those flaws to make them on a list like this. Unfortunately for, you know, Kidku and Beast and them, their offensive power is solid, but their defensive flaws is just so subpar, I guess you could say, where it just negates their effect of being on this for me personally. But that'll be number 9, and you are noticing a trend where greens are all going in a row. It's almost like greens need to get stopped by a purple, Legends. So let's get there. Number 8 is going to be, I think this might be a shock, Dooogote. Now, this is not Dooogote slander. I mean, maybe it comes off as Dooogote slander. You're seeing him at number 8. What the hell happened? Where did he go? What happened? Nothing happened to Dooogote. He's all right. Let's take it easy a second. Honestly, it really is just that, like, once we get up to those tiers, holy shit, things are going crazy. Specifically, once we touch the 5-6 tier. But Dooogote does his job. The issue then stems, and this is where we first have to discuss Hit, and Hit's going to be discussed in every singular tier moving forward, because he has to, because he is going to be high in this list, where he can be hit food. It's unfortunate. It's reality, though. You get Dooogote to a little bit low HP, 60%, 50%, whatever. You go to hit, you time skip, you don't ultimate, you don't blue card, you don't do any of that. You don't cancel your endurance and all. Strike, blast, strike, whatever. Green card, whatever. Okay, Dooogote's dead. Now, why is that lowering Dooogote such a dramatic amount? Because there is a replacement to Dooogote that coexists in Rev UI, where if that same setting happens to Rev UI, well, Rev UI does not die. He revives. So if Dooogote cannot live in that same setting, Dooogote is a bit worse off in those matchups. And personally, I have run into hit way more than I anticipated. And if I was running Dooogote in those matches, I probably would have lost because time skip? Oh my god, I'm dead. Oh my days, what just happened to me? They don't time skip my Super Saiyan Blue Revival Goku, right? They're not doing that. I can manipulate the timing to a decent degree to where I don't get time skipped as early as usual because it's Blueku. I mean, who's gonna fucking time skip him? You're most likely not going to, right? You can, but even then, you're most likely not going to. You just don't feel the incentive that you would on a, you know, God Goku here. And by the way, all these characters on this list are hit victims. It's not just this character. Well, every character below him is a hit victim. So, yes. But Dooogote more so to the point of you don't need his neutral. It's not a thing that's required right now. Again, there's no purple, so I don't care about his neutral. So I'm not really discussing that part because it doesn't matter to me right now. As well as being able to be food to not 1, but 2 characters. Like, yeah, you could get away with it when, like, Cell was just the only one that was running around. And Cell's not that common, so it's understandable, like, Dooogote would be much higher then. But now, where it's like, you got hit as well as Cell that could potentially be running around, it is a bit scary to be like, oh, I was once this safety endurance. And, I mean, this happened when Cell first arrived to the game. You would have to run Gohan Trunks or Turles, or you were just Cell food. Your entire team was always Cell food. Those units are still Cell food, to be fair, but they were less Cell food. And Hit kind of manipulates that setting to where you have to be more worried, I guess you could say, about those units coexisting in a match. Because Hit, you know, what do you do if you're Dooogote and you're up against the Hit? What do you do? Let's say it's Dooogote, MUI, UMV, that trio. If I'm using Hit and I see your Dooogote and I'm like, oh, that guy could die. I'm killing a free AoE greed character for free? I mean, who would I be not to take that opportunity? You're not going to live the time skip. Hell no. That shit does 3 million without even an ultimate. Goodbye, Dooogote. You're at 60%, 70% health. But Rev UI in that same spot, he would live, right? I'm not even going to sometimes even waste time skip on Rev UI at that point. At least if he's obviously in blue. So Dooogote does diminish down, but again, it's nothing of his own fault. It really would be that Rev UI would be above, or rather below him, if we just had a good purple, because the neutral of Dooogote would be good enough to warrant, okay, sure, he's a risk to hit, but there's still this purple, and Rev UI doesn't have as much neutral. Yes, Dooogote would be better, but because that doesn't exist, because Legends has fumbled so many purples, It actually just has to be this way for me. It's just because Legends fail so much that Goku gets lowered. It's not because Hit's such a success. It's just Legends failures, which... Yeah, what are you going to do, man? What are you going to do about it? But number 7, as I have been discussing this entire time, is going to be Rev UI. Again, the safety he can offer is just too high. I do think there is very good teams. I don't think there is particularly one best team, but very good teams of something I ran where it was UI, Rev UI, Hit, right? You get Zenka Bus for everybody, you get a glorious day. You can even 2x your Rev UI if you want there. It's a glorious time. And that team would be safer than the teams of the units below him. Miniku, you slap him on a team. Okay, well, Miniku could just be food. Caliclefla could just be food. Goku, we just discussed, can be food. But Rev UI himself is the only non-food to Mr. Hit. Now, that is the best part about him, because everything else, I mean, you use him on a team, you'll realize it. He is going to be the worst third. That's not a contest. But because how much you kind of need that safety in this game right now, if you do lose a character early, you most likely just lose a match outright. Like, it's very hard to make a comeback in a match when there's a auto-killing character every 40 counts that's going to, well, kill you. You just need the safety more than anything, I feel as though is the most important factor of winning a match. If I were to maybe, I guess, talk positive on anything else, the auto-dodging helps, the damage he can do, and double cardinal speed, the uncancelable cover null, those are all positive things in UI state. But early game, this guy's kind of just a nothingness. But again, the safety he offers, I'm valuing that to a high degree because, again, I've been in so many situations where I just time skip somebody and then they're in a 2v3 and it's 130 counts left in the match and they're not going to make the comeback because I got my free kill. But if Rev UI was there, I don't get my free kill. Like, that setting I've done to people a million times already with Hit because it's so easy to do. So with that being the case, I need to have a safety character be high up or higher than other characters because I've noticed where people just keep losing because they lose a character so fast because of the Assassin Man. So that's why Rev UI's up here. It really is just very high valuing a safety mechanism, but I mean, shouldn't I be? Every match I'm experiencing that safety would help, you know, when there's matches with Rev UI instead of Goku, in those sparse matches, because sometimes they run together, but when there is that setting specifically, the matches go longer timers, the matches go more lengths, and there's more to do in a match. There's more I have to play for, more I have to play around. When it's Goku, oh shit, I see that guy in? Okay. Button click. Green card. Kill him. When it's Rev UI, that's not the case. I'm not going to time skip him. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't, but most of the time I won't. Most of the time you won't. You just don't see the value of it. There is value to it. You should, but most won't. And guess what? That's the value of him. That's the safety mechanism he can't offer, which is a bit wild because he is very much worse than Goku. But this is a 3v3 game, and if you want to win, you need 3 units alive past 50 counts. And Goku's going to probably die first between UMV, Goku, and, well, UI. Unless you want to kill your UMV, which most people would never do because that's their golden child. So that's what happens there. With it now being a coffee break for a second. Please, hold on. I've been talking, yapping. 5 through 6, actually a tied tier. I don't like doing tied tiers as much as I can avoid it. I do, but I physically could not separate these when I was thinking about it and formulating this list. So this is where it goes, with it being Majin Buu and Cell tied. Now, the only issue with Cell is that he lacks a third. You look at Cell's teams. Oh, what's going on here? Well, unfortunately, yes, you can run him with Rev UI. Yes, you can run him himself. And that third is kind of up to the air. I mean, people have said, like, Goku, because you have even stats, and you can, like, double Zenkai buff and do all these crazy things. And, yeah, that exists, but, like, that's not a team. I can't just say, like, yeah, that team's amazing. That's not a team I've ever faced. That's not a team you've ever faced. Like, I'm sure that team can work, but, like, that's just a hypothetical. And I can't just validate a hypothetical like that, even if I've run it. Which I haven't, but I've heard about it. It just isn't enough. Cell just lacks a perfect teammate. He doesn't really need a perfect teammate. He just needs a teammate to work on his team. Anything. He's just right now a leader slot merchant. Even on that team I just mentioned, he's still a leader slot merchant over there, which is unfortunate, but he's still doing his job. I mean, if I ever encounter Cell in a match, I don't care what team I'm using. Even if I'm gonna run Daima, which is the safest team against Cell, I'm shivering in my boots, bro. Like, I'm always wondering, there's that main ability. Oh, there's my indestructible gone. Oh, he has a rush now? Oh, now I'm gonna die because he indestructible popped me. No shit, I had to let that happen. Then he rushed me. Oh, now I lose a character. Now Daima, as the safest team against Cell, right, because that's what that is in a 2v3, and Daima's whole point of existence is swap spamming. That's what they love to do, right? They love to spam swaps and remove cover null and all that jazz. It's great. But if Cell just ults me and rushes me, two simple 1-2 combo that could coexist, I'm just losing. Matter of fact, I don't even have to worry about the rush. If Cell does 3 blast cards or 2 blast cards and my Majin Ku exists, that man's in the fucking dust. So Cell individually, he is prospering. But team-wise, he is not. So this is interchangeable. I don't know how to separate this. This is just individual versus team. Cell individually is, yes. Cell individually is top 3 here because number 3, he is better than that unit individually. But because teams matter, which is why Rev UI even goes up, right? Because teams matter. He can't be higher than this for me. Again, 5-6 means that I could understand if you swapped them, but I wouldn't swap them. I would keep it like this. And Majin Ku being number 5, I mean, this is self-explanatory. Daima is still one of the best teams in the game. Again, I don't think there is an outright best team. People will say it's this, people will say it's that. I don't think there's anything that's the number 1 best. Each team has its own flaws, whether it be Daima here. Okay, well, Hit could just time skip somebody, and then that's going to be a problem. But Hit's best team has the flaw of there's no Blast Armor on his best team, right? Or the flaw of the Goku's best team. That flaw is going to be that you could just be Hit food. Like, there's a revolving door of flaws to no flaws versus one another that just keeps coexisting. So there's no best team in my mind, but Daima's still a very strong team. You obviously understand the gimmicks of Daima with Paralyze and Feint and yada yada yada. No units are really immune to any of these things either. None of these new units, I don't think, I mean, maybe MUI is to Feint, maybe? I don't even know. I mean, I guess he could be, but that's 1 character on your team out of 3. Yet again, it's a 3v3 game, so it wouldn't matter. And as well as the best Daima trio, funny enough, I think actually does include, you can see Daima 4Ku down there, Majin Ku, Daima 4Ku, and Mini Ku, because that snipe potential of Mini Ku is way too good. Again, I keep mentioning it, no goddamn purple, so green guy is strong. Crazy. Well, a lot of green characters are strong at this point, because no purple guy, no good purple, Evo fail. Let's not do that again, which is a bit ridiculous, but it's a fact. So that trio of Daima, I mean, you just kick off Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta at that point, and realistically, it is. Whew, it's not even about the damage between Daima Mini Ku to Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. It really is just about the pseudo lock and like what do you do? Like, let's say you're paralyzed and there's a faint chance, like you have paralyzed, you're pseudo locked. They do a drop combo anyways, and it just works, and then they like get a free kill because they're paralyzed with Ku, and it's just hell, bro. I promise you. Every time I have to fight Daima, I'm scared of nobody but Mini Ku. Like, Ku is obviously the backbone, but Mini Ku is the one that petrifies me. And Daima 4Ku is obviously being his annoying goddamn self, which you'll see higher up in this list, which I'll explain. But yeah, no, that's what it is. 5-6 is just team versus individuality, and I'm not going to overvalue an individual, spot of Cell. Well, I know he's good. What can I do, man? I can't put him higher than this. This would just be, lying in my eyes. So Cell does stay at a 5-6 threshold. Still a pretty good unit, obviously. You would assume Anniversary would start power creeping these units from pre-Anniversary, because that's what they love to do. But for now, they're all kind of just vibing. God Goku's from goddamn Legends Fest at this point with his plats. So, I don't know what we're waiting for, but we're waiting for something to kick these units down to bucket. Maybe it's the Ultra, but maybe part 2 as well. Number 4, though, is going to be Mr. Ultra Majin Vegeta. He does have to get knocked down a few pegs, as I have mentioned. where Hit is coexisting in matches, and I guess I could say it here about Ku and Cell. Yes, Hit can make, obviously Ku his food, as well as even Cell. Sure, that's just common sense. UMV, I don't think can fall too far down. Again, he is only number 4 here. I know, scary. He's from, top 3 to top 4 now. Oh my god, what a fall off. Obviously, there's impact from Hit. Obviously, there's impact from Cell, more so from Hit. But then again, UMV can also snipe a Cell, or Hits. Most likely Hits, but yes. You green card with full gauge, which you can easily play for, because you can run a green card spam team, run a team with Whis, and then have Godku, and have Caulifla. And guess what? You get 1 green card catch with Hits, or rather UMV's full gauge. You do a strike, you do an ultimate, boom, Hit blows up. UMV is the best yellow answer to the Mr. Assassin over there, so there's that. Great stuff for him. But he can also blow up from Hit. It's just that that's the case, so I guess you could play for it. You could run Rev UI, UMV, UI, try not to get your UMV killed. I know that sounds difficult, but what else could you say? Try not to get him killed, and then hope for the best. Like, there's nothing you can do about that that's going to be like, oh yeah, UMV is safe. No, he has to get hurt, obviously, but it's not going to ruin his entire career. There's still going to be matches if there's not a Hit, because Hit is common, but not like the uber common UMV, Godku, and UI team. That's still the number 1 team I fight, personally. And if there's not Hit in the match, UMV is still going to take over and rule a match. So, yes, UMV has to dwindle a bit because time skip, and he is just a free death against Hit, but not every match is going to have Hit. And even then, you can run him with a blue, you can run him with Rev UI, and run as much safety as you can with that trio, because that trio can easily be a safety team. But there's going to be times he dies to him, and there's going to be times UMV kills Hit. That's just going to be the reality of it. There's going to be times UI does a counter, and guess what? That motherfucker Hit is dead. It's all up to circumstantial play, and there's nothing I can rate here that's going to be like, oh yeah, well, UMV has to knock down 87 pegs because this circumstance happened about 7 times instead of this one happening 3 times, where UMV died 7 times, but Hit died 3 times. Like, that just wouldn't make any sense. It's so anecdotal. I'm trying to go for consistency here, and there's just sometimes it'll happen where UMV gets the upper hand, and sometimes he doesn't. That's just what's going to coexist. The goodness of his kit is still coexistent. The toxicity of his kit is still coexistent. That doesn't fall off. It's just more, well, let's be a bit careful while running this character. And yeah, you should be. But also, if you're using UMV, you also understand that sometimes it'll happen you die, sometimes it'll happen you rule the match. Now he's got to be 1 step more careful. That's about all that happens to UMV here. He doesn't really get that inflicted, I could say. Not more than any other character, really, because if one dies to Hit, they all die to Hit. That's just what happens. Like I said, everyone below Hit on this list who is not placed yet is just a Hit victim. And now, we go to number 3, who is going to be none other than Ultra Hits. Obviously, you and I know he got his plat equip, and this thing is bananas. I think it's a bit overtuned, because this man could get 3 time skips in a match. It's a bit ridiculous. I believe the first time skip he can get was in, 25, 30 counts if you pop enough greens? I think it's 30 counts, which 30 count time skip sounds a bit crazy, and it is, because you could literally get a kill within the first 30, 40, 50 counts, sub-count manips and all, and that is ridiculous. Hit, again, it makes everybody below him his food, excluding, technically, Rev UI, which is why Rev UI is higher on the list than he probably ought to be. If Hit didn't exist, Rev UI would be, honestly, Rev UI would probably be, like, tied 10 with Khalifa for me. Like, I really don't think he'd be above Miniku, but because Hit exists and because Hit has such an impact, he's got to be up here. Again, thankfully for these yellow units, for their own longevity, there is some safety that can be run with them in the top tiers that you'll see. But Hit, he does his job. It's very simple. He has very low defense utility, so you do have a glass cannon type of character, though you can also argue he is pretty bulky because his equipment is very good, and he heals a lot. He heals 3% per card clicked when he's in the battlefield. So, I mean, he does his role. He's an assassin, he snipes, and he moves on. And the only thing that he has different from Cell, because again, Cell would be top 3 here. Cell could even be fucking top 2, really. But Hit has a better team. Cell has no third. Cell has no true team that can just be a thing that you're going to face in PvP consistently, as well as the character himself is not being run often. And whilst Hit is a little bit more common, especially compared to at least Cell, his team is much more a thing that exists. You know, Hit with Kale and Caulifla, and Rev UI hits with Kale and Caulifla, and NUI hits with UMV, I guess. I mean, fuck it, why not at that point? And then whatever third, like, you can do whatever you want, and let Hit do his role to a very easy degree. It's not like this character is difficult to use. They didn't intend to make him difficult to use, and I will just state, Hit is a toxic unit. If you think UMV is toxic, you have to think Hit is toxic. He has a full screen, lock-in, AoE green, 3 times a match. That is inherently, intrinsically, undoubtedly toxic. I understand people don't want to say he's toxic. Time skip has always been toxic. Just a little backstory on Hit here. He released alongside Blue Beast and MVP, you know, their era, essentially. So MVP, who has cancel buff effects on big moves, so you can't use your ultimate against him there when you're time skipping, which Hit's time skip was much worse because it the debuff beforehand. Now it doesn't because the plat equip at 7 stars plus. But he was still doing well. Like, he was doing pretty goddamn good, because I remember being a Hit defender back then, because people would just call him Blue Beast food. This man would just time skip Blue Beast and just kill him with, obviously, the ult clicked, sure, but he would still just be able to 100-0 a Blue Beast. Like, that's what Ultra Hit could do during his heyday. When he was having no team, because he had no team, he literally had nothing. He had bare bones shit alongside him. And he was still able to beat some of the best blues in the game. This character has never been bad. He just never dropped at a perfect time. And honestly, right now, it's not even a perfect time. Again, the top 2 are 2 blues. Spoiler, obviously. So it's like, this guy's always been a god. And he's always been toxic, but he's always been a god. Now he has a meta that's better for him than the other, even though it's still 2 blues that are still overruling. Thank you, Ambulance. I appreciate that. I'm going to need one soon. He's just a toxic guy. Just all know that, because people will not say Hit's toxic. You are wrong. Hit is toxic. It's okay that he's toxic because he's killing UMV a little bit better. But he's toxic because he kills everybody on this list besides one character with 1 card. That is undoubtedly fucking toxic, because you also can't switch. You are locked in AoE full screen green 3 times a match. That is toxic. He's more toxic than UMV, but people don't want to hear that, so we move on to 1-2. Again, for me, with 1-2, the slashes indicate that I could interchange them, be fine with it, but the dashes indicate I would want it to be this way. You could swap them, I could understand it, but again, slash means I could change it and, you know, be chill with it. Dash means you can, and I would, but I would not change such things. With it being MUI number 1 and Diamond 4 Coup number 2, again, does fall into the category of it's just hard to separate these two. With it being their teams being, I would say, on par. Realistically, you know, you look at MUI's team, a lot of people are going to run MUI, God Coup, and UMV, and that team is very good, very annoying. A lot of people are starting to run MUI, Rev UI, and Hit. And while that team does have flaws with like no blast armor, a low amount of cover in the beginning, it does pick up steam later in the match. But then you also look at Daima, with it being, well, Daima 4 Coup, Mini Coup, and Majin Coup, and that team doesn't really get stopped. Matter of fact, it probably is the best team you can run against Hit, just because you do have that indestructible mechanic, and that is technically a saving grace. Technically, it's more because he's a blue unit than anything, but Hit can also just kind of usurp that. I mean, like Kid Coup, you drop combo, you do the time skip, yes, but Diamond 4 Coup is at least more likely to live it because he's blue. I mean, it's literally pulling straws, but still, both teams can be subject to hit victims. It's the same thing as MUI. It's not like MUI is going to live a fucking, you know, Hit ultimate. He doesn't cancel buffs, so guess what? Hit does a strike, an ultimate, or MUI dead. Like, there's no change there. Both units can be hit victims as well. I mean, it's obviously more difficult because they're blue, but Hit is Hit. He is hitting. Like, he is going crazy. So both teams do have flaws and benefits to their own vitality of PvP. So nothing really can change. I mean, I guess I had it where MUI was below Diamond Forku, but now that his team got buffed with hits, it does make sense that MUI could be argued as number one. And then at that point, I have to look at individuality, and MUI individually is doing more within his green card, within his auto mechanics, within his damage. Like, per card is just outright a lot better. While he has less cover null, doesn't matter if you have less cover null. If your auto attacks are doing 1,000,000 per bare minimum, why do I need cover null? Just auto attack. They swap, I auto attack more. I mean, it sounds very stupid, but MUI UI characters are very fucking stupid, so that's what happens there. So I would have MUI number one just because that individuality does have to be factored at the end of the day, since the teams in my eyes are basically on par to one another. So that would end up being my top 10 list, with it being number 1/2 of MUI Goku and LF Daima Forku. Number 3 being Ultra Hit, getting the glow he really did deserve, sure, but let's calm it down. Let's give us some succession units, some, stoppage to this madness, because he is madness. It's a lot of madness there. But he is number 3 here. UMV, number 4. Number 5 being Majin Ku /6 with Ultra Cell. Number 7 being Revival, Super Saiyan Blue to UI Goku there. A nice little Zenkai that happened. Obviously gaining value within Hit. If I were to do this list before Hit got his plat, that guy would be, again, probably arguing number 10, barely making the number 10 slot. Even if he did, I don't know if he would have, honestly. But we're not there, so it doesn't matter. God Goku, LF being number 8. Free to play Daima Green Goku being number 9. And number 10 being Tag 1% Kale and Caulifla. And then the honorable mentions / all arguable number 10 being LF Kid Goku here, Ultra Beast Gohan, and Super Saiyan 3 LF Goku from the Legends Festival. I am very curious to see how this changes from the next one, because the impact Hit made from this list, from the previous list, is a lot. It's almost like he was a 7th anniversary headliner at that point, because, oh my fucking god, like, we got 2 of them. We almost had 3 7th anniversary headliners, but I guess that last one got lost in the fucking dust on the way here. So I wonder what happens within the next LF Zenkai of possibly Purple Revhan, and then we get the 2 LFs that happen. Like, what can they do? Because this list changed a lot from last to current, and everyone's list would, because the impact has been significant. I like the change, I just don't really like the units at the top. So, I mean, Daima Fork was the least toxic one there, and Daima's fucking Daima, bro. Like, that's not a positive. Let me know what you think, though, of my top 10 list before part 2 begins. I'll see you guys in the next one.